Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Marta here. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My friends, I've recently posted the first of the video series which I am creating with this Kokorosa die, and I'm so happy so many of you said that you enjoyed this video, and that really sparked some joy and some ideas in your head what you can do to use your dice in the less conventional way, not always the way as it is on straight on the design. So today I have another of these dice here, and this is what we're gonna play with. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you so very much, everyone, for all your support. And if you're new on my channel, very warm welcome. I hope you will enjoy it. And also thank you for all the share, likes and comment. This is a huge support to my channel, so I am so grateful for that. Now, without any further ado, let's jump and let's create some cards playing with this design in a little bit less obvious way. So I hope you're gonna enjoy my ideas here as well. I am starting my first card from picking up few pieces of the cardstock, and this is a little bit untraditional, unusual color combination for me. I'm gonna be playing with this mild lavender purple color paper alongside with this peachy salmony color and a pale green. It's gonna be a pastel tone, but it's way more colorful than I would normally do. So I like to experiment with different color, with different shades, and create different look each time I'm playing. I've started from chopping off one of those corners and I went with the larger one, and that way I could place it on A4 size card, and this will help me to decide where to score. I'm just gonna make sure I have enough space to fit this triangle on this little flap. If I will score my card traditionally, like for a DL size card, which is 21 centimeter or 8.5, I wouldn't have enough space from the top. And for this particular card, I'm needing top hinge card. So this is very important. Well, you may try experiment and create something similar with the sideway open card, but I think it's just way easier to work on top hinge. So I've created this purple flap where I'll be adhering this triangle corner, but before I'm gonna be doing that, I will adhere all my elements on the piece of the white card. And whenever I'm passing through my plates through my die cutting machine, I like to put few things at once. This is just something which kind of enhance my efficiency in the craft room and will allow me to create something more quicker. So whenever you have the design and you know what you're gonna be using to dress up your card, always try to put that 2-3 things at once. It will just save you time and energy if you're using the electrical die cutting machine like I'm doing, or it will save your hand if you're spinning the handle. Here I cut 2 pieces at once, and this is just the regular 200 GSM cardstock, and I've put 2 pieces together so that way I could cut them both at the same time. And here's the trick: to not lose all those little pieces, I am placing a piece of the masking tape behind them, and that way I keep them or both together. And because I cut 2 from the very same design paper, I would like them to have this continuous pattern and do not mix them up. And having them left on the masking tape, it will prevent them from mixing together, so then I won't have to puzzle them back which one is from which piece. Now I am placing my silver frames, like this triangle frames, on the piece of the spare cardstock, and this is just gonna be underneath matte, so that will be holding everything together. And once I'm gonna glue those 2 pieces, I will then chop it off so it's gonna be not visible from underneath. But I just needed something to hold everything in place, and I rather do it that way than adhere it directly to the purple color paper. Especially with these thin frames, it's always easier to have some additional support, so it's just looking nicer. Because if you're placing it directly onto the paper. Sometimes you can adhere it slightly under the angle, or not in exact place where you want it, so that way it's just save you a lot of the frustration. It's always better to adhere it on the spare piece of the paper and then attach it to your card. Here I have this remaining triangle from chopping the purple color, this flap on the top, and this is gonna be my bottom corner. So it's gonna be kind of like a open space in the middle, and I really like those cards. They are very, interesting look. What you can do, you can stack a piece of the acetate if you like, or you can join those two pieces together with the help of some focal point in the center. Here I'm also filling the inside portion with the white paper, and as you can see, I've got a spare paper from the printer, which I was testing some print result. I'm always saving those bits because they are great paper. They're still very usable, so you can print your whatever you needed on the back side, and then if you no longer need it, you can chop it and use it in your card making. Here I am putting those flaps down, and this is the, I don't know, I accidentally chop it off this piece of the video, but I've placed it down so I could adhere this circular frame, cut it from this doily from the purple paper, and then I am adhering 2 circles, one from each side, so I could have the nice finish. I even thought, now once I'm looking on the video, I should probably cut this backside circle from the same pink lavender color paper. That will be looking even more pleasing once you open up the card. But I think it was very quick, nice idea, something slightly different than the die itself would direct you to. Each one of the cards I wanted to create something a little bit different, so that will give you some additional ideas on the top of the main use, which you can see on the die itself, like how would you use that. I am finishing off my card by adding this piece of the foliage, and I have this thankful sentiment, both of them together with that doily. They are all Kokorosa die, so just to let you know. And then I'm adding a piece of the string, of course, just to dress up my card, and I'm slightly bending the sentiment under the angle. I think it's just looking very nice and elegant, and I quite like this color combination. I think it's just this nice soft pastel tone, but I definitely went with more colors, going with the purple, the salmony, and a little bit like the sage green, so and silver on top. So even though it's very colorful, all the colors are quite soft pastel tones, so I think it's looking really nice together. Now I'm finishing off my card with a couple of the Nuvo drops, just giving a little bit extra interest to the card, and I have this nice flow thanks to the drops. I am just kind of spreading them across the card, creating this flow and the movement. So that's it. So the first card is ready. I will keep it aside because I don't want to destroy the Nuvo drops, but then I'll come back at the end and I'll show you all the cards back again. For my second card, I wanted to create something in a larger format. This little die here, I think it was just working with the A6 size card, so it's something smaller, and as you know, I do prefer to create larger card, and that's not a trouble at all with this die because it's just matching perfectly. The design is just coming together perfectly if you join them, and that way you can extend the die in each direction. You can create it a little bit longer, like 2 together, or extend it sideways like I'm gonna do here, 2 pieces together, and that will give me this beautiful large panel once I'm gonna be finished. I am cutting 2 pieces together at once just so I could save up the time, and I'm gonna be using this paper with the flowers, this beautiful flowery design, as my insert, and I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did previously. I am using the masking tape to hold all the elements for me, especially those little triangles, which you can see here. You've got 2 or 3 those teeny tiny elements, so it is important to keep them in place so you're not gonna be losing them. I'm not too much bothered by this sage green color papers. I'm keeping them aside. Maybe I'll do another card with them later on, but I'm mainly looking after those floral elements. And as you can see here, I've got this teeny tiny bit left in the die cutting, in the die itself, so I'm just taking it and I'm gluing it back. And again, I'm doing exactly the same thing with this other piece. And oh my gosh, as I'm looking on this design paper with this die, it's just looking lovely. It would be looking lovely even without this colorful green frame. You could put the white frame and that would be also very elegant. I think this design is so lovely, and you can use it with so many different things. You can even put like a larger photo or something and then chop it into the pieces and have it combined together. That will be nice to have like a larger image or different pattern paper. These type of the dies are super useful if it comes for dealing with your scraps. If you've got the scraps, just chop it. Even if they don't fill the full die area, you can use different elements like different color papers, and that will be just looking great. And here you can see how those design is looking together. It's almost like a braid. I don't know if you can see it, but when I'm looking on it just now, it just reminds me like a braid style. So you can extend that and put another piece, and you can extend it either direction. It will be looking nice. And once I'm happy with it, I am just using those little bits which I saved from the other design paper, and I'm just filling the gaps. And because I have everything adhere on the masking tape, I don't have to second guessing, and this is really helpful if it comes for speeding up the whole working process and make it much easier. Now, once I'm gonna be finishing it, I will chop this white piece all around. I'm gonna leave a thin layer, I think, so that will be my additional mat. But as I'm saying, you don't really have to put the green color frame. That could be white. That will be also very elegant. Or you could skip the frame. You could use this temporary adhesive to attach the frame, just so it will serve you as a guide, and use the design pieces like this little rectangles and just create the pattern without the frame. That will be also very elegant look. Now I'm gonna be chopping my bits, but this white borders all around, but I wanted to have teeny tiny border here. So here's how am I doing it. I am placing it on my die cutting machine and on my trimming guillotine, and there is a little ruler here which is 1 millimeter away from the blade itself. So if you put your card exactly with this green line, like the frame is finishing right where the ruler is, you will have this very nice equal even space all around. So that way I can create a perfect mat and layers for my elements, and each time I'm doing the same trick. I'm just placing it up till the edge of the ruler and I'm chopping it if I want to have this teeny tiny border. I use this sage color ribbon, and I have this like a silverish heart buckle. This is something you can buy in a sewing store or in the craft stores as well. I've got a couple of them in circle and heart shape, and I think this is just a nice addition to your elegant card. And because I back in the past I was using lots of ribbons, lots of different things like that, I still have got quite a large collection of them. I've decided to use something bigger. I normally go with the string, but I think for such a nice and elegant look, this ribbon is just working here perfectly. And because I've created relatively small ribbon here, like a ribbon bow with this buckle, I think it's just looking nice, and it's not overtaking the space. Initially, I was thinking of creating some front panel on top of that, but I really like this design. I didn't want to cover too much of it, so that's why I've decided to, you know, create this very simple, elegant, kind of like a clean and simple look design, and that way, you know, all this pattern is visible. Last thing I'm gonna do, I'm just needing to add a little bit of the sentiment, and for that I've decided to go with the sentiments which I've designed, and I have the one which says on a wedding day. So I think this is going really well with the entire vibe of this card, because it's such an elegant card that could be something you can give on a wedding for someone. And then I took one of those bits which was inside a portion of the green color frame once I was cutting it, and I've just used it for backing my sentiment. That way I didn't have to reach for any new piece of the paper. I just used what I had. I'm slightly bending the sentiment, and I'm just gonna be adding a double layer of the foam tape behind it, but only in the center area, just so I could have some sort of a support, and that will give me a little arch on the center, so that will be you know, helping the sentiment to stand out from the background. Lastly, I am finishing off my sentiment with two pearls, so that will be look like it's adhere with the help of the pearls to my card. And this elegant very pretty large card, it's A5 size, it's finished. So moving on to the last card, I'm working on a craft color paper. This is a regular 6x6 card base, and these are pre-cut. I've just bought them, and they are not exactly super square, because I think they're like 5 3/4 inch size. But for that, I am just chopping the piece. I've marked two dots on a design paper, so I could have this nice little border all around. I'm cutting one of the pieces again, and I will be using this large corner. I'm not sure why, but I just like the design of it. It's kind of in like a minimalist look as well. It's very clean and it's very elegant, and I just like it. If you would like to see more inspiration with the same products, let me know. Or if you have any more dies or different products you would like to see, this kind of different ways you can use up the product, let me know in the comment. Of course, I would appreciate that, and that would be a good idea for me to create another video for you. Now I grab Marta Stewart punch, and I'm just punching across this angle line which I've created, and that will be the decorative element for my pocket. This time, instead of replacing the panel on the card, I've decided to create a pocket, so that will be nice addition which you can use for your card, either for the front part of your card, or you can put it inside. For example, if you've got traditionally opening card, you can add this corner to one side, and that could be a pocket for a gift card or a voucher, so that will be a nice addition to your cards. This die is really versatile. I quite like it. I can already see many more uses out of it, to create different shakers and different, you know, backing pieces for my elements. And most importantly, it's fun shape to work and use up all the scrap pieces, so I quite like it. Once I place this craft color frame, this thin frame, on this piece I've just created, I am scoring right beside those two other edges, and I'm creating the flaps. I did a little mistake here because firstly I should not chop this decorative piece on the bottom, so that will be a little bit sticking out, but I have not enough space for this little flap. I think it's not gonna be holding really well, so I'm just grabbing additional piece of the card and I'm just extending my flaps. Paper is very forgiving. That one thing I can tell you, my friends, that whenever you made a mistake, don't panic, just have a wee think like, okay, I cut it too shortly, or it doesn't matching. What can I do with it? Here, a very easy fix. I just add an additional piece of the paper and I have my flop ready. So here you can see this beautiful design, like how it's gonna be look like. We've got a very simple card, and we're gonna have this pocket in the left bottom corner. I'm placing the piece of the design paper on the card, and it wasn't looking right because I've just put it sideways. This card is not this card base, it's not exactly a square, so that's why once I glue it to the side, I was like, why am I having a larger a larger mat on one side and not the other? So that way, this is why I like to work with the pencil rather than measurement, because with the pencil I knew exactly how it's gonna be fitting. Now I've cut two pieces of the craft color cardstock in 2.5 inch, and I'm gonna be creating some tags. I need something to fill in with the pocket, so I've just remembered myself, I have this very old punch which create those kind of a tag effect with the hole, and for that I am creating two tags with the craft color cardstock, and then I am following with the design paper, which I cut slightly narrower. So if my tag were 2.5 inch, I just cut it almost 2.5, and then I've punched the top bit back again, and then lastly I trim slightly shorter than the tag itself, so that way if I will adhere it a little bit lower, so I have this craft color cardstock sticking out from the top, I will chop it at the end and have the border all around. It's not gonna be super perfect as it would be in a nesting dies, but it's working fine. Last thing, I just want to dress up those white pieces on the pocket, because I don't quite like the white look on them, and I wanted to match with the rest of the card. And that way, once I did it, it even enhanced this lacy design even more, because that way the lace is becoming way more visible. And again, it was very simple and easy just to cut it, add a dash of glue in between those spaces and just glue them back. Lastly, I'm gonna be finishing off my tags with the little teeny tiny piece of the string, and then I am adding those little hearts here. I forgot the name of it. Oh my gosh, I'm just trying to look for the word for this little metal pieces, those little embellishment, and I'm absolutely, my mind is blank. But anyway, you know what I mean. So I'm adding the piece of the bow just right underneath the hole, and then I am just placing those little jets. I think this is what they call them. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comment. Sometimes it's just because I haven't used one thing for such a long time, the word can, it's getting my mind blank, and the more I'm thinking of it, the more I feel like I'm losing my tongue. So I'm not gonna be even trying. You know what I mean, those little heart metal embellishment. So I've put them through the holes, and that way I have this nice finish. And because I have this little piece of the gold on my card, I also add this gold frame around my sentiment, and once I'm gonna adhere it, my third card is finished now. Okay, my friends, so just to give you a proper close-up look, the Nuvo drops are now dry. I really like how this design looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, as the other one, if you would like to see more inspiration with this die, let me know. If you let me know in the comment. I'll give you the link to the Kokorosa store, and just to let you know, my friends, this is my affiliate link, so if anyone decides to purchase anything, I'm getting a little commission out of it. And for that, make sure you also use the coupon code if you would like to buy it. I'm saying bye bye to you just now, and I'll hope to see you shortly. I will have a fancy card to make, so I hope you will join me for another masterclass as well. And let me know if you would like to have it speed up version or chit chatty longer one as well. Stay blessed, my friends, and bye bye.